Sometimes you just get to that place when you know it's time to change your life. The bottom drops out for one reason or another. Meaning is elusive. You wake up and each day seems the same, and the same has little to offer. And you begin to ask yourself, what's it all about? You realize that you've begun to resemble one of the Walking Dead in those zombie movies. You know, those guys who are dragging themselves empty-eyed over the scorched earth. So what to do? Those of us who depend on God feel lost during these times. Is there a God, we ask? If so, where's the access? We feel deserted. We feel forlorn. We may become ill, not only of spirit, but of body and of mind. We may become irritated or angry with those who care about us. We may sink into a profound depression for a long time. If it's any consolation, there's a name for this, spiritually speaking. And even the saints experience this. It's called the dark night of the soul. This descent into darkness and the desperate quest for change is common to human experience. And the theme, it characterizes so much of our literature that we know that it's common to human experience. Last Friday night, I saw a film which has as its central character a man who is enduring just such a time as this. The film is entitled The Visitor. In this film, Walter, an aging academic whose wife has died, has been reduced to a man who is just going through the motions of living. He really doesn't care about his students. He really doesn't care about his writing. Then his dean forces him to go to New York to present a paper. And he blunders in upon some illegal immigrants, a couple who were living in his apartment there, which he rarely visits. He has pity on them. He invites them to stay. And this is the beginning of his breakthrough. The young man, Tarek, is a musician, and he teaches the professor how to play the drums, pulling him into new life, into caring, into love, into relationship. We see Walter, who really looks like the Walking Dead at the beginning of this movie, as he starts to pay attention to his interior life, to say yes to its spontaneous messages. Yes, offer these young wanderers a place to live. Yes, go to the club with them and hear their music. Yes, even though you feel stupid and awkward, learn to play the drums yourself. Yes, fight for what is right, even though you know you will lose. Yes, believe that you can love a woman once again. And the fire comes back, life comes back, the film ends, and we're not sure what the next step will be for Walter, but we know that he will never be the same again. When we're in that place of no life, we doubt that transformation is possible. But stories, both real and fictional, tell us that it is. Consciousness can be changed and we can die to the old life. We can be born again. And how does that happen? Can we make it happen? Well, yes and no. The emptiness, the longing, is the only ever place to begin. The emptiness. Nobody who thinks they're A-OK ever changes. And sometimes that longing is deep and hard and feels almost unbearable. But we have to welcome that longing. We have to take the longing seriously. Well, that is, unless you're longing for a new convertible and $1 million in cash. Now, know that all longing is of the divine. Longing is of the divine. Your very longing is an invitation for the holy to break through into your life. And expect confusion. My experience in facing significant change is that I wallow in confusion, sometimes for years. I read, I research, I talk to wise people, I try this, I try that, I push and see what gives, I offer and see who takes. The fact is that the awakening we seek may depend upon the depth and the richness of our uncertainty. Can this breakthrough come suddenly? Can the prince come with a glass slipper? Well, yes. But don't forget the rest of the story. Don't forget the years of sweeping up the cinders. Don't forget the nasty stepmother and the vain stepsisters that Cinderella endured so patiently. Maybe the prince is not a prince at all, but a possibility that waited inside of Cinderella, waited to be mature and to be born into the world. Maybe there is just such a possibility within each of us, nudging its way out. A few times in my own life, I have had what I would call an epiphany, a sudden intuitive knowing of what is true or what direction I should take. For me, these moments have always been preceded by months or sometimes even years of indecision and grief, loss and confusion. But when the answer comes, it comes from deep within, it is unequivocal, and I have no choice but to follow its leading. Let me tell you of one such experience. I was living in Lexington, Kentucky at the time, a single mother in a dead-end job that wasn't paying enough to support me and my two sons. I had a lot of education, but nothing that would command much money, it seemed. So what should I do? I thought about getting a PhD in education or perhaps in social work. I traveled up to Smith College to check that out and went over to Brandeis to check that out, but neither one seemed to fit for me. Maybe I should consider seminary. I'd always been religious after all. So I flew out to Berkeley, California. Had never been to California. And of course, Berkeley was a very strange land for me. So I went there to interview at our Unitarian Universalist seminary out there, Star King School for the Ministry. I remember the interview very well. One lay member of the committee asked me, "What will you do if we don't accept you?" I said, "I don't know." And then in another interview, a professor asked me, "What is your goal in life?" I said, "I want to be all used up." And he said, "Well, parish ministry should do that for you." They accepted me. But should I go?